Saturday Social is powered by EA Sports FIFA 23 with PlayStation.
Speaking of Man City, it does bring us nicely onto our next section, Joe. What's trending? We know the rules by now. The guests will get as long as they want to debate the biggest talking points of football. Now, we picked a top 5, but as I said at the top of the show, we could have had 10. There's so much going on.
Absolutely.
So what is first up?
Yeah, we've got to start with the reason that Stephen was getting lawyered up, haven't we? Manchester City, of course, because the Premier League released a statement earlier in the week, didn't they? Charging the club with over 100 alleged breaches of their financial regulations. Now, Manchester City have come out to deny these allegations. They released their own statement saying, as you can read on screen, they're surprised, they welcome the reviews, and they look forward to the matter being put to bed. If you want to read it all, pause it right now, because it is a long old statement, but they've come out punchy, and Pep Guardiola came out even punchier yesterday in his press conference. He came out swinging to defend his club. Give this a watch.
My first thought is that we are already being condemned. So, like, what's happened right now, these weeks after Monday, it's happened the same what happened in UEFA. But I'm not moving from this seat. I can assure you, more than ever, I want to stay that. Now, more than ever. Yeah. Sometimes I have doubts of 7 years, 8 years, 7 years already is a long time. Not even in any country, so many, many years, imagine in the Premier League. So many, many years. But now I don't want to move on. Not because the people say, if they lied to you, Pep. They didn't lie to me. Look what happened in UEFA. I said to them, what happened? So, Pep, we did nothing wrong. We prove it. Now it's the same case.
The little tut there, absolutely monumental. The little tut there, just monumental. So the trend we're going to throw out to our guests, this is hypothetical, of course. What should happen to Manchester City if the allegations are proven to be true? Now, at this stage, of course, they are unproven allegations. Robbie, I'm going to come to you on this one. What should happen?
Relegation. If it's proven, everybody's innocent until proven guilty. Pep was right about that. I like that where he's going. I'm not leaving. Remember that.
Jordan Belfort style.
Yeah. But to me, if it's proven, and I read through a load of those allegations, they should be relegated. It should be the harshest possible sanctions. And, it's no slight on Steve. I feel sorry for Man City fans because they haven't done anything wrong. But we've got to have a fair playing field in football. And I remember back in the day, they used to take all the Arsenal players. They took Kolo Toure, Clichy, Nasri, right? They took all those players. So you think about it that way, if they've been breaching the rules in those serious ways, Juventus got relegated over in Serie A. This season they've been dropped 15 points as well. I think it has to be the harshest possible sanctions.
What's your reaction to that, Stephen?
I would react to a question. What should happen if City are found innocent? Because everyone has decided already that City are guilty. I've got to back my club with that, man. Have to. And we're right, we've been condemned, we have. And it is frustrating from my perspective as a City fan to see the verdict already in, way before anything's been looked at by the Premier League and way before, any verdicts happened. So, look, if it happens, it happens. As I said on the overlap the other day with Robbie there, if City are found guilty, I've got credibility. I'm a respectful person. I'll accept any punishment that comes to my club's way. And Pep said the same. He said the same in the press conference. If we are guilty, we'll accept what happens. We'll get Paul Dickoff out of retirement, We'll
what did
come
you
back
make
up.
of Pep's press conference?
Mate, I wanted to run through a wall for him. And he's terrifying, isn't he, by the way, Pep, when he gets going, like Godfather stuff that. He really was. But that's what you want, as a club, you want your manager who will bleed for you, and like Pep, look, to be honest, Pep, if Pep believes it, it's enough for me. It has to be, because that man is, he's the definition of charisma, and he's definitely, no one tells Pep what to say, by the way.
He's not exactly going to come out and say, if we're found guilty, I'm off, and, I'm going to,
I know this for a fact.
We should be relegated and stuff like that.
Pep is a man of his words. He's so powerful at that club that no one can tell Pep what to say. I know that as a fact. I know people that work in Manchester City, he's the boss there, he's the governor, it really is. And if he feels that strongly about it, I don't know, they've just poked the bear, they really have, man.
Do you think if the allegations are proven to be true, it taints his legacy at all?
I don't think it takes his personal legacy if the allegations are true. I don't think they are, but I don't think it takes what he's achieved, because I said this as well, once again, we were chatting to Carragher the other day, I don't think the players themselves allegedly have done anything wrong, nor has the coach. I mean, if whatever's happened at boardroom, true or not, it's not the fault of the players, the fans, because they're still competitive, and personally, they still work incredibly hard to do that.
But half of them wouldn't be there
Yeah, but
if it's true though, isn't it?
Yeah, no,
So
but it doesn't.
To me, it doesn't taint him.
Their individual merit.
It doesn't taint him because we all know how good he is, right? But would you even have had him if he was sticking by the rules?
Look,
would you have half
allegedly,
of those? Allegedly, right? I'm not saying you're guilty, right? But let's just say you were found guilty, right? To me, it doesn't taint him because everybody knows he's a unbelievable manager, and he would have been placed in that unfortunate situation. But there's no doubt that the players he's been able to buy and retain over the years, right? Of course, it would be tainted because you would have. It's a bit like what Arsene Wenger used to say all those years: financial doping. It's a bit like an athlete, isn't it? When you've got two athletes, and one goes and takes performance-enhancing drugs.
You get in very dangerous territory here. Like, this is not performance-enhancing drugs. This
no, but I'm saying it's like Arsene Wenger said that time: financial doping. Right?
It's money being spent
proven
on
true,
transfers.
because I'm not saying you. Listen, I ain't a lawyer. I don't know if City are guilty or not, right? But I'm just saying, if it's true, you have gained a seriously unfair advantage over all the other teams in the Premier League, and everybody in the Premier League is a collective. It's a collective of teams. So I even have a problem with certain other things that I see going on with, long contracts in the Premier League.
There are many things that many clubs are guilty of as well that I won't bring into it, but there really is. And let's be honest as well, like, going back to the legacy thing, look, I'm going to defend my club always because I think it's innocent until proven guilty. It's fair and people have made their minds up. But let's be honest as well, we talk about Guardiola's legacy. Arsenal's current legacy wouldn't exist without Guardiola right now. You wouldn't have Arteta as the coach he is. You wouldn't have Zinchenko being your best left back. You wouldn't have Jesus as the forward that he is because of what Guardiola did to them individually.
Maybe
so
they
that
bailed
is
out
something
because
you've
they
got to
saw
consider.
what was coming.
So you can talk about all that kind of stuff, but Guardiola's quality as a coach and their quality as players cannot be in question.
No, and that's what I agree with you.
Decisions.
I agree with you. Listen, I'm saying he, in no way he's one of the greatest of all time. But I'm just saying, if he was proven guilty, that no doubt it's got to be a bit.
Do you know how it feels as a City fan? It feels like a long time ago some people decided that certain clubs can spend money, certain clubs can't. As a City fan, it felt like we were the ones who weren't allowed to because we didn't have perceived a big enough fan base yet. So that's how it feels like.
I think they're not going to agree on this. Worth pointing out that they are allegations at this stage. Man City have not been found guilty of any offence, and the process could have some way to run. So they are just allegations worth pointing out.
Definitely.
Let's stick with Manchester City because our second trend is about Man City. As Stephen pointed out earlier, they did lose again to Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Same result that we always see whenever Man City comes to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But it did spark quite an interesting debate about Erling Haaland, and this is what Jamie Carragher had to say on Super Sunday. Give this a listen.
He may have actually picked the wrong club to actually get the best out of him. You're laughing, but what I'm saying is we're not seeing everything of Erling Haaland. And Manchester City now, not because of Erling Haaland, we can say they're a different team, but they've scored exactly the same amount of goals. So he scored 25 Premier League goals, but Man City as a team have still scored the same amount of goals. But they've conceded more, and it's far easier to counter-attack them as well. So they're a different team and a lesser team with Erling Haaland in the team. But again, it's not his fault.
Interesting point. Interesting point. So our next trend, I can't believe I'm saying this actually, but it is: are Manchester City a better team without Haaland in it? And don't forget, this is sparked by the debate that's been going on social media. Worth pointing out, he has scored 31 goals in all comps. Stephen, you are a Man City fan. What do you think?
No, it's not Haaland's fault. Gundogan said it. If a guy is scoring 25 goals so far in the Premier League, he's obviously not the problem. To be honest, take Haaland out of this City team this season and we'd be worse. That's how I feel like it is. And the problems are that we lost our wingers and we didn't replace them. And we've got no fullbacks now on the left-hand side. And the problems aren't his fault, Haaland. And put it this way, if all of a sudden we still had Sterling and Zinchenko, De Bruyne hadn't lost a little bit of form and so on, would we be questioning this now? He'd probably be on 32 goals, 33 goals, something like that. So, ultimately, I don't think the problem is Haaland's fault. I think we've got a world-class, once-in-a-lifetime kind of player here. And because City aren't feeding him, I don't think it's fair to say that all of a sudden we should be back playing Foden as a false nine again. To me, that doesn't really make sense. I think that the problems are around him, but it's sort of a recruitment problem as opposed to a Haaland problem.
Robbie, what do you think?
If he has chosen the worst, made the bad decision, he can come to us as well. We'll take him as well. I mean, listen, it was weird last week when I was watching that game against Tottenham. He seemed to make a lot of runs and they just don't find him. and you could see him getting really frustrated. So I think that's where that sort of led to. But I think I have to agree with Steve. I mean, he's an unbelievable player. He has scored. He's done his job, hasn't he? He's an unbelievable player. Maybe it's just a matter of them still kind of getting used to that type of player in the team, and maybe you'll see the better of them next year when they're sort of more used to it.
So, Robbie, with your Spurs shirt on last Sunday, cheering Tottenham, were you, against Man City?
I never had no Spurs shirt on. You must be joking. I wasn't cheering them on, but what I would say was congratulations to Spurs. That was a fantastic result. Well done, Harry Kane. You know what I mean? That goal had a lot of significance for us at Arsenal. So, yes, no. Of course, I was very happy that you guys beat them. You know what I mean? Because, they would have been breathing down their necks.
Go to our next trend, though, because it's about Liverpool, who are struggling, aren't they, at the moment? Struggling really badly in 2023, of course, losing 3-0 away from home against Wolves. We can have a look at the form table now for 2023, and they sit bottom of it. Wow. Bottom of it, 4 played, 1 point, -8 goal difference below Bournemouth. And, of course, in that time, they've also crashed out the FA Cup to Brighton. So we're just going to simply throw it out. What's the biggest problem with Liverpool right now?
I don't know, but
You're smiling.
I love it, mate. I reckon. Do you know what I reckon it was? Coming that close to immortality. They nearly won everything in one game. And imagine how it feels to be told that you're the best at everything. And apparently Klopp said they got the best goalkeeper, best defenders, best midfielders, best forwards. And they weren't. So, imagine how that feels for them. And to be honest, I do think there's an element of that, where they just got to go again. It was probably just one step too far for them because they're exhausted, I reckon. They've aged a bit and they're tired because they've been through so much and they've been probably beaten down a bit by being that close constantly, but not quite getting there. That's what I reckon.
I just wonder if Klopp's a little bit like Arsene Wenger was at Arsenal in that after a period of time, when I compared, you used to look at Fergie, he was quite ruthless in his refresh. Whereas Arsene Wenger wasn't. He was more, he showed a lot of loyalty to certain players. And I'm just wondering with Jurgen Klopp is if he's kind of similar. He's been very loyal to certain players, and really some of those players are kind of reached the end now, and it needs a bit of a refresh. And it needed, there was a few key players that probably needed to be moved on. So I'm just wondering if it's that. They have been also very unlucky with injuries.
Is that you saying that Liverpool fans need to start the AFTV style Wenger out?
I think if any Liverpool fan was saying Klopp out at this stage, remember Arsene Wenger was in charge for 22 years.
Yeah.
Right, but if any Liverpool, after what he's done, he deserves he deserves, if he has a bad season, you've got to give him that. I don't think.
As well, I think
they've also had a lot of injuries.
Prediction for the Merseyside derby?
Massive
quickly?
game on Monday night.
Massive game, that feels like.
I'll tell you what, I was impressed with. I was at Goodison. I was impressed with Everton. I think that will probably be a draw.
Okay.
I keep thinking Liverpool are going to turn it around at some point because I guess we all do. Because you look at the quality they've got. You sure, this is going to be the game, but. I don't know, man. I think Everton are going to finally win this one.
Do you think?
I don't think it's even controversial, like the form and
I think
Everton.
we score a draw. What do you think?
No, I still think Liverpool are going to win that game.
Do you think?
Yeah, I still, for some reason in my mind, I still back Liverpool.
This isn't even my City head, honestly. I just think look at what Everton were against you. They were great,
I'll go 2-0.
It's a cracking game. Monday Night Football, of course.